Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 83 of the Totally Awesome Podcast. My name, of course, is JoshAgeddon, your host, the owner and proprietor of TAW Gaming, TAWTF, the TAP, anything that starts with a TA. I've got it. It's just signed SWAC, my seal of approval all over it. I welded it on there. I don't know where I'm going with this. It is 12:10 a.m. It is Sunday, very early Sunday morning. So I'm recording this Sunday morning. This is likely going to go up on either Monday or Tuesday. I'm thinking this will probably go up on Tuesday. But so this is another episode of the TAP, the Totally Awesome Podcast so bad it might just make you tap out. I can't believe we've done 83 of these, although about half of these have been the pay-per-view reviews with Sean and Skylar, although there's one in there with Thomas Robinson, and there's another one in there with Jeffrey Albritton that we actually did for WrestleMania 38. Of course, Jeffrey is from Shock Nation Wrestling. Go subscribe to Shock Nation Wrestling, and shout out to you, Jeffrey. So, it's been a while since I've done one of these where it's just me talking, just me with going on just a bunch of tangents, just a bunch of gibberish. You should be used to me just doing a bunch of gibberish, but I actually have a topic. And it is, of course, wrestling related, because I can barely do anything on my channel that is not wrestling related unless it's like a video game. Although I will say I do have some ideas for some videos that I do want to do in 2023, during the early parts of 2023, because I have a lot of ideas. I'm not going to give anything away, but I do have some stuff coming down the pipe. Long story short, earlier yesterday, I guess, on Saturday, at the time of airing the most recent Saturday, I was out door dashing in Rock Hill trying to make some money, and I wasn't listening to any music. I was monologuing to myself because I was thinking, I was deep in thought, which might not be the safest thing to do when you're trying to drive and trying to get to the correct address, but it's just how I operate. I was thinking, because how close are we to the Royal Rumble? Where's my phone? We are very close to the 2023 Royal Rumble. Let's see. How long is it now until the Royal Rumble? The Royal Rumble is on Saturday, January 28th. So it's going to be in about 3 weeks, I think. So we have 3 weeks until the Royal Rumble, which, again, will set the stage for WrestleMania 39. And that's going to be the topic of this podcast. Not just the Royal Rumble. And not even what I think should happen. Take out the word think. This is what should happen at the 2023 Royal Rumble. And it's just a fact. I'm not even going to consider other opinions, other things that might happen. There is a nightmare scenario that I'm very worried about. But honestly, there is one outcome of the Royal Rumble that should happen. No ifs, no ands, no buts, or no whataboutisms, no all that's too predictable. None of that. There's only one correct winner of the Royal Rumble that should go on to defeat Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Undisputed Universal Intergalactic whatever the fuck championship. And that is Cody Rhodes. And I swear to God, if Cody Rhodes loses the Royal Rumble, I'm going to be furious. And this isn't just, he's my favorite wrestler, I want him to win, I want him to beat all the guys. It's not even that. It's not even that. It's just, the planets are aligning. The stars are aligning. The whole damn solar system is aligning for this man. And the only way WWE could screw this up is by not doing it. Literally, all they have to do is just Shia LaBeouf, just do it. Because there have been a lot of rumors over the past several months. I mean, it's been talked about for years at this point. They want to do Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania. Which would be fine. I wouldn't really care myself. I mean, I like The Rock and I love Roman. I just don't really care to see the match. I mean, maybe if it was a couple of years ago, sure, but it's just I don't really have an interest in seeing The Rock wrestle in 2023. But fine, like if you want to do that at a WrestleMania, fine. I imagine that would draw quite well because it's The Rock. He's a draw. He's a big star. But just you can't do it this year. You can't do it this year because if The Rock is confirmed and shows up at the Royal Rumble, I am petrified that he's going to win it. If Cody Rhodes loses the Royal Rumble, I'm going to be furious. If The Rock wins the Royal Rumble, I'm going to be apoplectic. Because this will be just further evidence to me and the entire world that the WWE, even under a new creative vision with Triple H, even with that, they refuse to even try to make new stars. They have a golden opportunity with Cody Rhodes right now. All they have to do is just do it. You have a layup right in front of you. Even though WWE over the past several years have shown that increasingly they're not very good at layups anymore. Like some easy, surefire things they have screwed up and ruined. I mean, look at The Fiend back in 2019. That was so astronomically bad. And that was just in 2019. That's not even counting 2020, 2021, and 2022. All the easy stuff they could have easily gone with that they either just didn't do or screwed up. They can't do it this time. And I'm just hoping and praying that with Triple H at the chair, that he has the sense to go with what is right. And I'm going to go through real quick just my entire thought process on this. Why The Rock... Well, honestly, I don't even want The Rock to be at the Royal Rumble. I want The Rock to be as far away from this WrestleMania as humanly possible. I don't want him to be the host. I don't want him to be in a match. I do not want him to be involved at all. Because Triple H and WWE have been sending feelers out to The Rock, wanting to know if he will be available, because again, The Rock has a very busy schedule. They want to know if he'll even be available to be in the Rumble so he could potentially have the match with Roman Reigns that I just do not want to see. Because it'll be WrestleMania 29 all over again. It'll be 2013 all over again, except this time it's not CM Punk that's getting screwed over, it's Cody Rhodes. And I just cannot sit through that crap again. I do not want to sit through that again. And I'm not even the biggest Cody Rhodes super fan, although this podcast, to me, arguing as to why Cody Rhodes should literally just strap a rocket to his back and send him to the moon. I swear to God, like, I'm not even the biggest Cody Rhodes fan. It's so obvious that this is what they have to do. It's just whether or not they're going to do it. And honestly, Triple H's booking as of late, I mean, it's been samey. I mean, every once in a while he's had some major hits. Like, his pay-per-views have been more or less pretty good. I mean, SummerSlam was really good. Clash of the Castle was awesome. Extreme Rules was there. Survivor Series War Games was great. So, pay-per-view-wise, he has a pretty decent batting average. On TV, it's still kind of hard to sit through Raw. SmackDown, a lot of the times, is actually pretty good. So... But if Triple H somehow fumbles this, and again, the only way you can fumble this is to not do it. If Triple H screws this up, I will lose faith in Triple H as the creative vision in this company. It'll make me think that, Vince McMahon, who's at this very moment trying to weasel his way back into power in this company, despite literally everyone telling him, hey, that's a bad idea, but Vince McMahon is such a big fucking egomaniac that he doesn't even care that he's harming his own company. He's literally trying to have a dick measuring contest with the entire world, except that you're almost 80, your dick is not that big anymore. Your dick is what got you in trouble in the first place, Vince. Please stop. But that's an entirely different rant for a different day, although it kind of ties in somewhat. But so back to Cody. Real quick, back to Cody and The Rock. I'm gonna go through every reason why The Rock should not, why I just do not want The Rock to be involved at all. I do not want him near the Royal Rumble unless you do a swerve, you have The Rock in the Royal Rumble, only to have him be eliminated last by Cody Rhodes. I would love that. I don't think they're going to do that. If I was booking the show, that's what I would do, because it would be smart. Because if you have The Rock in the Royal Rumble, people are going to shit on it. Because we've seen The Rock. I love The Rock. A lot of people love The Rock. But it is 2023. It is not the early 2000s. It is not the Attitude Era anymore. It is not even 2011, 12, 13 with the whole thing with John Cena anymore. It is not his time anymore. And honestly, I don't need to see The Rock wrestle ever again. I love the guy. Stick to Hollywood. The last time he had a full-length match, he got so busted up that he needed to have surgery. Just call it quits, Rock. Call it quits, Dwayne. But my biggest problem, as far as okay, so my biggest problem is that if The Rock comes to the Royal Rumble, if they reach some kind of agreement, and he wins the Royal Rumble, after I have an aneurysm, I'm just going to immediately be disinterested in WrestleMania. Because it is going to immediately become insanely predictable. Even though it is not even necessary. There's so many reasons as to why The Rock should not even be in the Rumble, let alone win it, let alone go on to main event against Roman Reigns for the world title. The Undisputed World Universal Intergalactic Multidimensional Championship, whatever they call it. So, for one, like I just said, there's a difference between predictable that's bad and predictable that's good. Sometimes something can be predictable because it's the correct choice. It's the way you should go. And then there is predictable where you know this is where you can see it coming from a mile away, even that you're praying to God that it doesn't happen, and they do it anyway, and it's just boneheaded. Literally the only benefit to having and I've heard a lot of people claim this, that if The Rock is in the Rumble, he's going to win, because if The Rock wins the Royal Rumble, him main eventing WrestleMania, even in 2023, it will draw. And I can't deny that. It will draw. But is a big drawing WrestleMania more important than trying to create a brand new star? What are we willing to sacrifice here? Going back to the well, going back to the old ways, dusting off an old-time star for one last ride, like they did last year twice with Stone Cold Steve Austin, who I personally am not a fan of. We don't need The Rock. Stop dusting off the old guys to come back and wrestle, because the longer they do that, the more opportunities are taken away from younger talent. For example, Cody Rhodes, a prime example right there. But it would be so just obvious. They're not going to give The Rock the Undisputed Championship. The Rock does not need the world title. He just doesn't. It is going to be blatantly obvious that Roman Reigns is going to retain if it is Roman versus The Rock. Therefore, any and all suspense is going to be zapped right out of that match. It is going to be Rock versus Cena 2 all over again, because at WrestleMania 29, it was just a meaningless finisher fest, and everyone on the planet, even the vegetables, the blind people, even the people that were comatose, knew that John Cena was going to get his win back. No one on earth will even give The Rock a chance to beat Roman Reigns. Because Roman Reigns, in storyline, he's in God mode. Outside of storyline, Roman Reigns is currently the biggest star in WWE. He's not going to lose to The Rock, because The Rock doesn't need it. So there's no drama. There is no drama whatsoever. I would honestly say it would kind of make me feel like what the original plan was for WrestleMania 30 with Batista versus Randy Orton for the world title. That would have sucked. Thankfully, they didn't go with that because their hands were forced, because WWE loves to do everything wrong until the fans literally jam what's right through the correct orifici. So, again, The Rock doesn't need it. Of course Roman Reigns is going to beat him. But in what way does this benefit Roman Reigns? I just said, his gimmick is he's in God mode. He's the tribal chief. He's been champion for an absurd amount of days. If we map it out all the way to WrestleMania, he'll be nearing 1,000 days as world champion. And in that time, Even though after WrestleMania last year, he had a contract change where he basically appears as sporadically as Brock Lesnar does, which I know a lot of people don't like. Real quick, I never had a problem with that. I mean, it's the main title. It doesn't have to be on every single show. If the world champion is on most of the shows, on most of the pay-per-views, fine. I like that. That's fine. But if he has a more reserved schedule where he's only for like very special appearances, I also like that. I'm fine with both. Brock Lesnar never being around never bothered me during any of his title reigns. Roman Reigns, it makes not much sense because wouldn't you want to... Even though it didn't make much sense last year because they just unified the belts only to immediately have him appear sporadically, that didn't make much sense, but it didn't bother me because it added to making it feel like Roman Reigns is... Whenever Roman Reigns is around, you know that it's a big event. Even though he did kind of defend... His first title defense was against Matt Riddle on a random episode of SmackDown, so there's that. But still, I don't mind that concept. But in the time that Roman Reigns has been champion, for over 800 days, he has beaten everyone. Let's just go down the list. He's beaten John Cena. He's beaten Brock Lesnar multiple times. He has beaten Cesaro. He's beaten Rey Mysterio. He's beaten Edge. He's beaten Daniel Bryan. He's beaten your mom. He's beaten my mom. He's beaten Goldberg. Like, who hasn't he beat? He beat Logan Paul, for some reason. He beat Matt Riddle. I mean, he has beaten everyone. He's beaten Drew McIntyre. He's beaten Braun Strowman. He's beaten Bray Wyatt during this lengthy title reign. He's beaten everybody. Basically, like the one person he hasn't beaten is Randy Orton, but that's because Randy Orton's been busy tag teaming with Matt Riddle, and now likely won't happen because Randy Orton has those back problems, which may actually end his career. Which, real quick, real sidebar, I hope... I don't want to sound selfish. I would love to have Randy Orton back, but Randy Orton's one of the best of all time. People that say Randy Orton's boring can go fuck themselves. Randy Orton is one of the greatest. And if it's in the cards for him to come back, then awesome. If not, then he's had a hell of a career. But back to the issue with Roman, he's beaten everyone. And it's to the point where a lot of people are sick of him as champion. Me personally, I like that he's been champion for so long because a title reign of this length, this magnitude, hasn't really been done in a long time. It almost feels like we're back in the 80s, back when people would have absurdly long title reigns. I mean, let's not forget Bruno Sammartino had the world title for 7 years, which is almost comical, almost unthinkable, unimaginable to think about in the modern age. I mean, look at who was the champion before Roman Reigns. Before Roman, it was Bray Wyatt. How long did he hold the title? A week. Before him, it was Braun Strowman. How long did he hold the title? A couple months. Before him, it was Goldberg, who held it almost a month. So, we're kind of used to world titles being just swapped and just passed around like, you get a reign for 5 seconds. They hot potato these belts all the time. So it's weird to see someone who is champion for over 800 days. I mean, back when CM Punk was champion for 434 days, it was insane to think about. But even then, Roman Reigns' title reign is twice as long as CM Punk's is. So, but that said, Roman's beaten everybody. Just about everybody on the roster. So he doesn't have that much left to prove. It's the same thing with the Usos. The Usos have beaten every tag team on the roster to the point where they're literally just having to either jam two people together or just infinite rematches. Which everyone's looking directly at you, Street Profits. If they do one more Usos versus Street Profits match, I will literally vomit. I'm so sick and tired of it. But at least with the tag team titles, we know that they're going. It's fairly obvious that they're going in the direction of they're probably going to have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win the undisputed tag team titles at WrestleMania from the Usos, which that is absolutely what they should do. I would love that. I would love to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as the tag team champions. That's the one thing they haven't done in WWE. I would love that. So I don't have any worries about that. But what would beating The Rock prove for Roman Reigns? It's not like he needs the rub. Roman Reigns is the biggest star in WWE. He's the mafia boss. He's the guy that everyone's afraid of. He doesn't need a big WrestleMania. If he beats The Rock at WrestleMania and they wait another year to take the world title off of him at WrestleMania 40, by that point, even I'm going to be sick of him as champion. I do not want them to draw out this title reign for another year. Or, what would be even worse than that, they have the match with The Rock, and he beats The Rock, and then Cody Rhodes gets his, the match that everyone wants, or at least should want, to see Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the world title, where Cody finally wins the world title and ends Roman Reigns' winning streak. They do that at a B pay-per-view. Don't do that. You end Roman Reigns' title reign at WrestleMania. He is the final boss. You kill the final boss on the final level, the biggest stage. That is a WrestleMania event. That is cataclysmic. You don't do that at Backlash. You don't do that at frickin' Extreme Rules. I wouldn't even do that at SummerSlam. And I would not do it at WrestleMania 40 because at that point, literally everyone is going to be sick of it. So yeah, The Rock is obviously not going... but just saying, absolute worst case scenario, if The Rock wins the Royal Rumble and then goes on and he's the one to defeat Roman Reigns for the world title, that would be one of the absolute dumbest things I will have ever seen WWE do. Again, and I don't want this to come off as Joshua hates The Rock. I don't. I love The Rock. It's just, I've seen it. Stay Black Adam. I don't need to see you in WWE anymore. I've seen that. There are decades of that. We don't need it anymore. We had our fun nostalgia trip back in 2012. That was fine. Don't need it anymore. But it would just be so ridiculous. But it's ridiculous to the degree that I doubt that even WWE would do it, which they have surprised us before. They did have Goldberg defeat The Fiend for the Universal title. So they have done absurdly stupid things before, but I don't think that they would think about putting the title on The Rock, which, I mean, even then, if they go with The Rock and have him win the Royal Rumble, there would just be a huge waste of Cody Rhodes' time. What would Cody Rhodes even do? And let's actually get into Cody Rhodes, why this is such a big deal for Cody Rhodes. He came back last year at WrestleMania, and let's think back to around this time last year. People hated Cody Rhodes, because he was, I believe around this time last year, he was on his way out the door of AEW, but everyone hated him, hated Brandy, wanted him so badly to just leave. And the thought of him going back to WWE earned a lot of chuckles. Yeah, and who would care? And that was the attitude going into WrestleMania. Everyone was like, yeah, Cody Rhodes is going to wrestle Seth Rollins. Who cares that Cody Rhodes will be special for a day, and then he'll just be a regular guy on the following Raw. Maybe he'll last a week before he's just another guy on the roster. But then he came back at WrestleMania and won just about everyone over. They actually did right by him. He had a fantastic feud with Seth Rollins, and he was over as a babyface, which is astonishing in WWE nowadays. Literally the only babyface in WWE that has been sustainedly over, that I don't even know if sustainedly is a word, has been over to any significant degree is Bianca Belair, which is still kind of an anomaly. I still don't know how Vince got that right before his tenure ended, we think. But Cody Rhodes was over as a babyface in WWE during his brief return last year, especially with that Hell in a Cell match made Cody Rhodes' career. That I cannot understate the importance of that Hell in a Cell match. Cody Rhodes, with that grotesque-looking injury, going to war for almost 25 minutes in the quote-unquote most dangerous match in WWE. The most legitimate the Hell in a Cell concept has felt in years. And they knocked it out of the park at Hell in a Cell, and Cody Rhodes won. He literally was like, okay, I'm literally going to atone for my sins in AEW and make everyone love me again. And he did. It worked. But then he had to go away for a while. And when he comes back at the Rumble, the pop is going to be enormous. Would have been more so if it was a surprise, which WWE has been putting out like these videos saying, like hyping up Cody Rhodes' return to the ring, which I'm a little conflicted on that. On one hand, I wouldn't have done anything. I wouldn't have said anything. I would have been very hush-hush about it. Let the Royal Rumble return be a surprise. But at the same time, we all know he's going to come back at the Royal Rumble. It's not really a secret. So it's not really that much harm done. But me personally, I wouldn't have done these vignettes. But again, it's the digital social media age. You can't really keep secrets anymore. We all know Cody Rhodes is coming back. But even then, Cody Rhodes is going to get a monstrous ovation at the Royal Rumble. So, and right there you have a story. Not only do you have his whole thing about how he left WWE to get popular somewhere else, and then he came back saying, see, I proved that I could get over literally anywhere else. Now I'm going to be a big star here. Plus you have the thing about how my dad, the legendary Dusty Rhodes, was never, ever, ever the WWE World Champion, and that sucks. So I'm going to do it for my dad. And I've never been world champion in WWE, so I'm going to do it for myself. You have that. Now you have coming back from injury. See what I mean by the stars aligning for this man? It's nowadays it's rare for like the main story going into WrestleMania to have one good story element. This has fucking 4. 3 or 4 for Cody Rhodes. The whole, I proved that I can be a big deal on my own outside of WWE. Now I'm back to show it in your face. That's a good story. That is a good story. I'm doing this for my father because he never reached the mountaintop, and I'm going to do it for him and myself. That's a great story. And the returning from injury, where he had that courageous Hell in a Cell match because he's insane. You've got 3 good stories converging into one. Plus, Cody Rhodes can say, I'm going to take those titles off of you because you've been holding the WWE hostage for years at this point. I'm going to be the first person to defeat Roman Reigns. I'm going to destroy the bloodline, topple the tribal chief. There's your 4th story right there. There's so many things you can do with this. They just have to try. Like, they don't even... This story writes itself. They don't even have to try very hard for this one. They don't even have to think. They just have to at least attempt to do it. And it'll work. Seriously. The only way they can fuck this up is if they don't do it. And that's what I'm terrified about. I don't want them to go with The Rock because all of these good stories, all the momentum Cody Rhodes has right now, if they don't go with Cody right now, it'll be a giant waste. This will be a wasted Royal Rumble, which will make it a wasted WrestleMania. Because, and yeah, it'll be predictable if Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble and goes and defeats Roman Reigns for the world title. That would be predictable. But that's the kind of predictable that's right. Because, again, the planets, the stars are aligning for Cody Rhodes with all these story elements. If you just go with it, you could potentially make a new big star in WWE. A big, over babyface star, kind of like what you have with Bianca Belair right now. You could have the male version of Bianca Belair on your show, which is something you have not had in a long time. You tried to do it with Roman Reigns years ago, and everyone hated it. The only reason why people like Roman Reigns now is because he's a heel. And he's better as a heel. With Cody, you could have that mega babyface that you've been wanting, although at the same time, WWE over the past several years has done everything possible to prevent mega babyfaces from ever coming into existence. Because Vince McMahon has little dick syndrome, is terrified that if someone gets too popular, they're going to leave WWE and do something else. I have to keep my babies. I'm the bitter, controlling, crazy girlfriend/boyfriend that has to control every single nook and cranny of everyone's lives. But now, I'm just hoping that with Triple H at the helm, he will do right by Cody Rhodes. Because they have such a golden opportunity here. And there are probably going to be people that are going to say, Well, I mean, if let's say they do go with Cody Rhodes and he does win the Royal Rumble, and then he beats Roman Reigns, what if after a couple months people are sick of him? You're probably right, because wrestling fans are stupid. Wrestling fans are fickle, especially nowadays because no one has an attention span anymore. But you'll never know if you don't. You'll never know if you don't try. And that's the thing. I'm worried that WWE's not even going to try. They're going to go with what's safe. They're going to go with The Rock, and it's going to suck. I don't need to see The Rock. Rock, Dwayne, buddy, stay in Hollywood. Don't come back to WWE. If you want to do that, do it next year. At WrestleMania 40. I mean, hey, it's WrestleMania 40. That's when you do Roman versus The Rock. I still won't care, because it's The Rock in what would be 2024. Don't really need to see that. But not now. Don't do it now, because if you do it now, you are wasting a huge opportunity to make a mega babyface in Cody Rhodes, or at least try to make a mega babyface in Cody Rhodes. And just, even though the match would be predictable, yeah, of course Cody Rhodes is going to be the one to beat Roman Reigns. Make it an excellent match. It can be an excellent match. Have it be the main event of night 2. Do a bunch of crazy shit. Have Cody Rhodes, try your best to trick the audience into thinking, wait, Roman Reigns might actually win this thing and still be champion. Good God, please save us, Cody. Because that really lean into the fact that Roman Reigns has been champion forever. And then people will be begging Cody Rhodes to take the titles off of him. That's what you should be wanting right now. Which, they have another opportunity to do this at the Elimination Chamber, because the Elimination Chamber is taking place in Quebec, I believe. Either Montreal or Quebec. It's taking place in Canada, which is where Sami Zayn is from. Sami Zayn is monstrously over right now because of his work within the Bloodline, which is the best thing in wrestling right now. The Bloodline is great. And mostly because of Sami Zayn. And you know that sometime between the Rumble and Elimination Chamber, or between now and Elimination Chamber, at some point, Sami Zayn is going to be viciously, unceremoniously booted out of the Bloodline. You know that it's coming. It's just a matter of how and when they're going to do it. They're going to kick him out of the Bloodline. So, because I believe they already have it penciled in, that Roman Reigns will be defending the world title at Elimination Chamber against Sami Zayn. Which right there, that's going to be a hell of a match. I'm very much looking forward to that. Mostly because they're going to be in Sami Zayn's neck of the woods, and with as popular as Sami Zayn is right now, Sami Zayn is going to get a hero's welcome. And the crowd is going to be so pissed when Roman beats him. To the point where everyone's going to be like, oh my God, can someone take the belts off this man? Please, someone please beat Roman. I'm sick of seeing him on my screen with these belts. That's where Cody Rhodes comes in. Another huge popular babyface. He can be the chosen one. Again, all of these elements are lining up perfectly. They just have to do it. They just have to sink this 8-ball. And literally, if they even try, they can't miss. It is literally impossible for them to miss. The only, God forbid, the only way that this would not work is if, either Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns dies. In real life dies or gets injured. Which I hope I didn't just jinx it. That would be the only way that would get ruined. Which would astronomically suck. But I hope that doesn't happen. Barring any kind of injury that would ruin the WrestleMania plans, if they just go with Cody, they have a golden opportunity here. Literally everything is falling into place for them to really push Cody Rhodes as the next top, and have him be the top star in WWE for at least the rest of the year. And to the naysayers, to the people who don't even like Cody Rhodes, who are like, oh, we'll get sick of him in a couple months, just at least give him a chance. Would you rather it be Cody in his first reign as world champion, or have more Roman as champion? Would you really, what would you rather have? Give Cody a chance, or have Roman Reigns still champion for 8 trillion bajillion days? I would rather go with Cody, honestly, because it would be a breath of fresh air. I love Roman, but WrestleMania is the place to take these belts off of him. and it shouldn't be The Rock. It's never going to be The Rock. It has to be Cody Rhodes because of how perfectly everything is falling into place. They cannot fuck this up. They'll find a way, I'm sure, but still, like, again, during the match, convince people that Roman Reigns is going to win because everyone's going to be like, oh, they have to put the belt on Sami Zayn. There's no way they're not putting the belts on Sami Zayn. And then Roman Reigns beats Sami Zayn. The internet, Twitter, literally implodes because they're pissed that Roman Reigns beat their hero, Sami Zayn. So now they go into WrestleMania with a little bit of doubt in the back of their head saying, there's a chance that Roman Reigns might beat Cody too. Oh, man, come on, Cody. And then you can do what I would propose, do a spot. It might be gratuitous finisher kicking out of, okay, I really butchered the grammar of that. It would be a gratuitous overuse of finisher kickouts. But what I would do, have Cody Rhodes hit Crossroads, but hold on to him, pick his unconscious ass back up, hit him with a second one, pick his unconscious ass back up again, then do the Dusty Rhodes Bionic Elbow, once again, calling back that Dusty Rhodes has never been champion before, and this is for the title. Then hit him with the third Crossroads, have Roman kick out at the last possible second. And then everyone's like, he just kicked out of all that. There's no way Cody is winning this match. Sow the seeds of doubt. And then have Roman Reigns use every single method to cheat over and over. Have the Usos get involved. Have Solo Sikoa get involved. Have him hit Cody in the face with one or both of the belts. Have Paul Heyman hit Cody with a low blow from outside the ring. Have Roman do literally everything he can to keep his grubby little mitts on both belts. And then have Cody Rhodes go off the ropes for the Cody Cutter or the Disaster Kick or something for Roman to spear him in midair. 1, 2. Cody just barely kicks out. And everyone's like, oh my god, I thought Roman Reigns was going to retain. Oh my god, that was close. Only then to have Roman Reigns immediately put Cody in the guillotine to once again have the crowd go, oh no, Roman's going to win. And then do the thing with they raise the arm 3 times. The first time they raise Cody's arm, it falls. Second time they raise Cody's arm, it falls. Third time, his hand, all of a sudden he has some energy, and the crowd goes insane, and the Cody Rhodes powers out of the guillotine in some way. Maybe Bob Backlund lifts him up and slams him or knocks him into the turnbuckle or does the decapitator, which is when they jam their throat into the bottom rope, and then hit him with a super Crossroads, and then 1, 2, 3, you have a new champion. And everyone ejaculates and goes home and everyone's happy. Except for the janitors that have to clean up all the cum. Boom, there's your WrestleMania main event. Would it be gratuitous finisher kicking out? A lot of, yeah, I screwed the grammar up of that again, but you know what I mean? Would it be a little ridiculous? Yes. But sometimes it's necessary. It's all about tricking the audience. You just have to be willing to try. Would it be a little predictable? Yes. But it's the correct thing to do. Just because it's predictable, that does not mean it's wrong. The Rock and Roman would be super predictable because it's just stupid that it's happening. Of course Roman is not going to lose to The Rock. That would be preposterous. Seriously though, absolute nightmare scenario, The Rock walks out of WrestleMania with both titles. I would actually stop watching this company. I'm already debating that because if Vince McMahon regains the creative position in this company, I'm out. No thanks. I do not need to see more WWE under Vince McMahon's decrepit, delusional, just dementia vision. You can barely even call it a vision because, oh God, there's... But yeah, best case scenario, if Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble, then he's winning the world title. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do from between the Rumble and WrestleMania. I already brought up what they're already going to do with Sami Zayn in Elimination Chamber, which, regardless if The Rock or Cody wins the Royal Rumble, they're still going to do that exact same way at Elimination Chamber, and that's still going to be fun to watch. It'll be better if it's, Cody goes to WrestleMania, because then we know that this is all leading up to finally Roman Reigns finally losing the belt to someone the crowd actually likes. Because if he beats Sami and he's going up against The Rock, he's going to beat Sami, and then he's going to beat The Rock, What if Sami Zayn beat Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber and then beat The Rock? That'd be crazy. It would still be a waste of Cody Rhodes' planets aligning thing that I was going on about, but it would be a thing to do. I wouldn't do it, because, Sami Zayn's going to be too busy winning the tag team belts with Kevin Owens. But here's a couple things you could do after Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble. And we're going to do a little bit of fantasy booking here. But it's feasible. It's not SCCG where it's just insane. This is actually kind of reasonable. At least what I would do if I was Triple H. Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble. He has like a miscellaneous match on a Raw or SmackDown with one of the Usos and wins. Obviously, he wins. You do a segment at a point where, not before Elimination Chamber, because the focus at Elimination Chamber and leading up to Elimination Chamber should be Roman and Sami. So all of Roman's attention and a lot of the bloodline should be on Sami Zayn, and maybe you have Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn do a tag match against some combination of the bloodline. Something like that. That'd be fun. You could do that. What you could do for Cody Rhodes at Elimination Chamber, the pay-per-view, have him go one-on-one with Solo Sikoa. I mean, Solo Sikoa, ever since debuting on the main roster, he has not lost a single match. They're pushing him as like the next Umaga. He's like the scary monster of the bloodline. He's the muscle. Like, Roman is the mafia boss. Solo is the guy he sends after you to kill you in the middle of a dark alley. Solo's the monster. So, of course, Roman Reigns will be like, I'm dealing with Sami. Solo, you take care of Cody Rhodes. So the build-up to Elimination Chamber is mostly Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. And after Cody beats one of the Usos on a random episode of Raw or SmackDown, that's when you have Solo come out and kick his ass. And like have Roman Reigns on the top of the stage giving a little wink or something like that. Again, fantasy booking, but it's stuff that would make sense. And of course, the first person to pin Solo Sikoa on the main roster, Cody Rhodes. Duh! It is basic booking 101. Of course, Cody Rhodes wins to build momentum going into his coronation at WrestleMania. You have him beat Solo Sikoa. And then, in between Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, then here's another thing that could be really fun. You could do a 6-man tag match. You could do, because again, you're going to be having Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos for the tag team titles. You could do a 6-man tag team match on an episode of Raw or SmackDown. Have this be a huge main event. You could build this as like a huge WrestleMania preview main event or whatever the hell you want to call it. You have Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens versus Solo Sikoa and the Usos in a 6-man tag match. That would be a huge main event on Raw or SmackDown. You can do that. Have that hold you over. And then at some point have Roman Reigns come out and get some heat by beating the shit out of Cody Rhodes. Have the entire bloodline just pounce on him and beat him to a bloody pulp. So do that, and then have Roman Reigns go out on stage and insult Dusty Rhodes. Have him insult Dustin Rhodes. Have him bring up Stardust. Have him get some nuclear heel heat that Roman Reigns is absolutely capable of. Because after he beats Sami Zayn in Elimination Chamber, people are going to be pissed. Or at least they should be. I think they will be. Because we all know how the internet is. The internet's favorite thing to do is be pissed off. And what's a good way to piss them off? Have one of their favorites lose, which is Sami Zayn. And then we have WrestleMania and the whole layout of the main event match that I described. Hundreds of finishers. Cody Rhodes is finally the guy. He withstands all of this nefarious schemes by Roman Reigns, and he finally wins the World Heavyweight, Universal, Undisputed, Solar Flare, Supernova, Cataclysm, Hurricane, Katrina World Championship. There you go. It writes itself. It is the path to doing this is so damn easy. All they have to do is not go with The Rock. I hope that The Rock is not available. He's too busy filming Black Adam 2, Blacker Adam. That sounded awful. Anyway, I'm going to move on from that comment. We could have him, he's too busy filming whatever. I don't care. I'm probably not even going to watch it. I still haven't seen Black Adam because I really don't care. Don't have him at the Royal Rumble. Don't have him anywhere near WrestleMania. Have Cody Rhodes go and win the Royal Rumble, win all of his matches, beat Solo at Elimination Chamber, and then have him beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And then, looking past WrestleMania, What can you do? And I was thinking about this again while I was in the car driving around. You could, like, at Backlash, which right there, it's Backlash, not WrestleMania Backlash, because WrestleMania Backlash is a fucking stupid name. It's just Backlash. We know the Backlash is in response to WrestleMania. We're not retarded. Vince McMahon is, but we aren't. But anyway, so at Backlash, here's something you could do. You could do Roman Reigns and the Usos versus Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. Because Cody Rhodes is the brand new ultimate whatever the hell they're going to call this championship. He's the undisputed champion. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they're the new tag team champions. Roman Reigns and the Usos, they have rematches. Boom. 6-man tag team match at Backlash. All of the championships on the line. If the Bloodline wins, they get all their gold back. If Cody Rhodes' team wins, then they retain all their belts. And I don't even care what kind of 6-man tag. Honestly, not even gonna lie. I would just go full on balls to the walls. I would finally end the whole Bloodline story. I would just do something insane. I would do a 6-man tag team TLC match, tables, ladders, and chairs, and just have it be a huge, massive car crash, just just a freaking, oh my god, just an accident on the highway. Just a freakish 18-car pile-up match filled with crazy spots. Tables, chairs, ladders broken everywhere. Have it just be absolute chaos and anarchy to close out the final send-off to the Bloodline for now. You take care of all their rematches, and it's a huge main event for Backlash. That would be an epic as fuck main event for Backlash that they should absolutely do. I mean, even if they do just a regular 6-man tag, that would be fine. But honestly, at this point, this is when you can go batshit crazy with some stipulations. Like, have it be a 6-man tag Hell in a Cell match. 6-man tag elimination tornado falls count anywhere, just hell on earth war match. I don't know. Just have it be something big and crazy to really just put the exclamation point at the end of this huge rivalry. That honestly started, it includes Sami Zayn, and the whole thing with him even being involved with the Bloodline from months and months and months ago. It involves the whole thing with Cody, the whole thing with Kevin Owens that's going on right now. It would be the bow at the end of the story. It would be the explanation point at the end of the paragraph, and you're done. Off to the races. And then, after that, on Backlash, again, still with the fantasy booking, also a match you could do at Backlash, you could do a match where you crown a number 1 contender for whoever the world champion is at the next show, which I think would be Money in the Bank. So you have a one-on-one match between 2 guys. I don't know who. I don't care who. You have a lot of options, which is another thing. If Roman Reigns beats The Rock, if that's what they're doing at WrestleMania, what next for Roman? Who the hell else? Again, I already said they would probably do Cody and Roman at SummerSlam, which at that point I feel like it would be too late. A lot of the sizzle would be off the steak of Cody Rhodes at that point. If you have him go, what are you going to do? If The Rock wins the Rumble, what are you going to have Cody Rhodes do? Wrestle Seth Rollins again? It was great the first 3 times. I don't need it a 4th time. Have him interact in the Rumble and have that be that. I don't need that again. But what it would be a waste of Cody Rhodes' time. But again, like, it just leaves open no interesting possibilities if Roman Reigns walks out of WrestleMania still champion. If Cody Rhodes leaves WrestleMania as champion, which he should, because WWE would be absolute fools if Cody Rhodes does not walk out of WrestleMania as the world champion. If Cody Rhodes walks out of WrestleMania as the main champion, all of a sudden the universe opens up. Because then he has all these different challengers. He can wrestle at some point down the line. He can wrestle Sami Zayn for both titles. He can wrestle Kevin Owens. I don't know what Bobby Lashley's doing. Maybe Bobby Lashley could win the number 1 contendership match at Backlash. So then at Money in the Bank, we have Cody Rhodes versus Bobby Lashley. Another huge badass for Cody Rhodes to defeat. There you go. Boom. Easy. Simple. Like, something like that. You have so many options with Cody Rhodes coming out of WrestleMania with both belts. As opposed to Roman Reigns, where you basically have 0 options. It's just more of the same. With Cody Rhodes, it's basically like opening up the entire roster. It's just full of possibilities. Hell, you can call John Cena back. Have Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the world title at SummerSlam. I'd buy that. I'd dig it. Or run back Cody versus Roman Reigns. Have Roman Reigns one last chance to try to rebuild the bloodline at SummerSlam. I'd be cool with that. I mean, that's another huge thing about Cody versus Roman. It's new. Have we ever gotten a Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns match on WWE television? They've been involved in some tag team matches. But I don't know, they may have had a miscellaneous one on a random Raw or SmackDown back in like 2013 or 14. But that's been so long ago that it doesn't really matter. But like this iteration of Cody Rhodes and this iteration of Roman Reigns, that's a brand new match they haven't done before. That's what you go with. Just there's so many reasons why Cody and Roman is the must-have match at WrestleMania this year. That is what the road to WrestleMania should be framed around. I don't see how they couldn't do it. Unless all they care about is inflating the numbers, the amount of people there at WrestleMania, because The Rock is going to be there. Yeah, I want to go... And if that is their strategy and it actually works and they actually do sell out WrestleMania because people want to see The Rock, then that just tells you how stupid the audience is. Oh, I want to go and watch a match where I know The Rock is going to lose. I mean, that's basically what happened to WrestleMania 29. Even back in 2013, wrestling fans were just as stupid. Yeah, I want to waste all my money going to a WrestleMania where I know The Rock is going to lose. Why wouldn't you be like, oh, I know Cody Rhodes is going to win and it's going to be awesome. I would waste my money on that. I don't want to waste my money on knowing that this guy that I don't really care about in the first place is going to lose. What sense does that make? Cody Rhodes is the only logical choice. And again, after the crazy whatever match that they have at Backlash, whether it be a regular 6-man tag or a TLC, which is what I would do because I would just go crazy with it. And I know what you're probably having difficulty imagining, like how are they going to fit? That's 6 belts. How are they going to fit all those belts on one thing over top the arena? Well, at this point, after Cody Rhodes wins the title, the first thing you can do, meld the WWE title and the Universal title together. Have one world title belt and have a brand spanking new design that doesn't suck ass. Looking at you, Universal title. Have it be something other than a giant W in front of a primary color. And also, do the same thing with the tag team belts. I'm sick and tired of the quarters. The quarters are fine, it's just I would like to have something different. I mean, for God's sakes, you redesigned the United States Championship and the Intercontinental title. The 2 belts that needed it the least. And even then, I mean, the new design for the U.S. title, it kind of looks like a giant toy. It looks like a giant piece of plastic, honestly. But it's kind of grown on me. I mean, it's fine. It's perfectly serviceable. The Intercontinental title, the new design for the Intercontinental title, it still kind of looks like the 24/7 belt, which I'm not crazy about that because that's something I would like to forget even happened. But I can buy that. I can buy the current design of the Intercontinental title because at least it's something different. And also, while we're at it, unify, like after WrestleMania, unify the Raw and SmackDown women's titles. Just unify all of these titles, and then come out with a brand new design for the women's title. Again, something other than a brightly colored W. Have a new design. You have a really unique and cool looking design for the useless ass women's tag team titles that no one cares about. Why is the design for the tag team title that no one cares about more interesting to look at than the main title design, the people that some people care about? Again, ass backward logic here. But yeah, just revamp all of that shit. So then, in this hypothetical TLC match for all of the gold, that way you just put the one world title, the newly designed world title, up there on that rung, right next to one of the newly designed tag team titles. So there you have 2 belts. And all they have to do is rip down the one thing, and they're holding the 2 belts, and they've successfully retained or won the titles for their team. That's all you need to do. It's really simple. You just have to, Do it. That's all you need to do. And after all that's said and done, after this huge TLC war or regular six-man tag, whatever you want to do, after that, whoever won the number one contenders match earlier in the show, Bobby Lashley, he comes out, beats the shit out of Cody Rhodes, setting up for their Money in the Bank match. And the whole thing, the whole saga with the Bloodline has come to a conclusion. On to the next chapter. It's going to be Cody Rhodes versus Bobby Lashley, who apparently is trying to get the Hurt Business back together. So, there you go. That's the next thing for Cody to do. Has a whole batch of opponents to go up against. He has another final boss-ish person to go up against in Bobby Lashley, and they would have a great match at Money in the Bank. And then you have the whole hoopla with Money in the Bank, which I hear is going to be in the UK this year, I think. I can't remember exactly where, but apparently it's going to be in the UK. So it'll at least be a hot crowd. Or in Canada. I can't remember if it's going to be in the UK or in Canada. I don't think it's going to be in Canada because that's where the Elimination Chamber is going to be. But yeah. So, to wrap this whole thing up, this whole rant, because I'm almost at an hour here, and I feel like that would just be a perfect length for this entire long rant and monologue about what they should do at the Royal Rumble. Because, just to recap, the Royal Rumble is in 3 weeks. And there are 2 legitimate options for what's going to happen. Either The Rock is going to win the Royal Rumble, or Cody Rhodes is going to win the Royal Rumble. I'm at the point where I'm not even saying in my opinion. To me, it is a fact. You will get so much more, out of Cody Rhodes winning and going on to at least attempt to make him the next big WWE star. You would get more out of that than going back to the well with another crusty old fart. Again, this is really going to sound like that. I hate The Rock. I don't. I just hate WWE's attitudes towards people that aren't even active anymore. They go back to the well, they dust off The Rock, and The Rock wins the Royal Rumble. For no reason. For a meaningless match with Roman Reigns where we all know what's going to happen. There's going to be 37 rock bottoms, 20 people's elbows, 100 spears, and then Roman Reigns is going to retain, and then he'll eventually drop the belt to Cody at SummerSlam. Wow. That is way less interesting than everything that I just theoretically booked myself. Triple H, hire me. Have me sit in the chair for a couple months. I'll make you some money. I'll book some shit that actually makes sense. For fuck's sake. And I would also fire Liv Morgan, because fuck Liv Morgan. But anyway, and another thing you can do. Hey, still looking to the future. You know who I would finally have Cody Rhodes drop the belt to? Either Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn. At Survivor Series. Fuck it. At Survivor Series, have one of those two that the internet loves, have one of them be the one to defeat Cody Rhodes. And have it be clean. Who cares? And then at some point have Cody Rhodes win his title back. Or do something like that. Have Cody Rhodes get a tag team partner, win the tag team belts. Do something like that. You have a lot of options. All you have to do is go with Cody Rhodes. I mean, if Kevin Owens defeats Cody Rhodes for the world title, he can be a babyface and he can scrub away the memory of his god-awful run with the Universal title back in 2016 and 2017. That was such a shitty reign. A complete and total waste of Kevin Owens' talent. Just gluing him like Siamese twins to Chris Jericho. For fuck's sake, I hated that. And it could be Sami Zayn's first world title, beating Cody Rhodes. I'd be down with that at Survivor Series. Or something like that. Just, again, you have options. Or maybe you put the title on someone that I'm not even thinking of. Put it on a heel. Have Cody Rhodes lose the world title to a heel, and then have Sami Zayn beat that heel. Maybe you can have Sami Zayn win the 2024 Royal Rumble, and then go on to win the world title at WrestleMania 40. Or Kevin Owens. That'd be dope. Or Austin. Where does Austin Theory figure into all this? I would love to see a match between Cody Rhodes and Austin Theory. That'd be fun. I can see it now. The next Saudi Arabia show, we're going to get Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul for the world title. Oh, for fuck's sake. That I'm not excited about. That immediate. I don't care that Logan Paul is miraculously good at wrestling. It's Logan Paul. I hate him. I don't care. Like, his match with Roman Reigns was great, but it's still Logan Paul and I hate him. Therefore, I hate it. So, Oh my god. Just, again, WWE. Go with Cody Rhodes. It's the logical choice. It's the only choice. Fuck The Rock. Dwayne, I love you. Stay in Hollywood. Make another movie. Or 10. Just come back at WrestleMania 40 and then masturbate with your cousin in the middle of the ring. If you want to have the Battle of the Samoans, the ultimate Samoan jerk-off contest, do it at WrestleMania 40, not this WrestleMania, just anything but this one. This is when Cody needs to be the one to masturbate, okay? What a weird way to end this. Okay. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for listening to my weird, barely coherent rant about what I think should happen, what I know should happen. Again, gotta watch my wording here. What should happen between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. Thank you guys so much for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys next time. Later, everybody.